Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacciana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we are going to work on this Park Slim flip-top petrol lighter, clear the Flint tube, and see what other kind of trouble we can get into. When I began this project, I had originally intended to pull out the solid foam fuel cell that is in this insert. I had several springs available and at my ready. You can see that the plastic screwed, I don't know, I think it was black, kind of left behind a purple looking ring on the solid fuel cell, which I am going to stain up a little bit further here in a little bit as we dig out this degraded flint that's in the tube. That's regrettable, but it happens sometimes. Now, I am going to try to use this metal screw that I pulled out of another Park Slim to replace that. But as you'll see later, that was not a good idea, or at least it didn't work out in this case. The wick is a little bit dirty looking, and what had me initially wanting to replace the solid fuel cell was that the wicks in these things are so short to begin with. But then I got to thinking about people talking about these solid fuel cells on some of the Facebook lighter groups, and people really seem to be intrigued by them. So I thought, well, why not go ahead and leave it? We're probably going to auction this lighter off in one of those charity auctions. You can see how quickly there, with the 3/32 drill bit, we were able to break through the degraded flint. And then you can also see there, I don't know for sure, but the next time you see that solid fuel cell, I think it's going to be a little bit dirtier because of how I just set it down into that fuel dust. At some point here, I know I contaminate it, and that is continuing to rub me the wrong way. I need to get an air compressor back in here. I was hoping to get that Briggs & Stratton fixed, repaired, even though it wasn't technically still under warranty. They had sent me the motor to fix it, and I had hoped they were going to send me the switch. As of yet, I have not received the switch. So you can see there that the flint tube is at least clear enough for the drill to reach up to the file wheel and keep it from turning. We still have some flint dust, a good amount of it, on the file wheel. So I'm going to take one of the blades from one of these small precision standard screwdrivers and just slide that between the grooves of the file wheel, trying to push out as much of the old degraded flint as possible. And we'll do that several spots around here where you can see flint on the wheel. Some of it is just kind of on the surface from when we were drilling it out. Other of it was actually caked there and sort of concreted when the flint began to degrade. If you like doing this kind of work, then you'll want to accumulate as many small tools, screwdrivers, picks, pliers, any kind of tool that you can think of. Even toothpicks come in very handy. And because you end up having to clean a lot of old debris that you're not really wanting to, sort of wash it or sanitize it or expose it to harsh chemicals or anything like that, these common household disinfectant wipes are pretty good for that purpose as well. Don't seem to cause any damage to any of the finishes. Doesn't seem to leave behind any kind of residue on the wick that won't let it burn. There you can see where I had set that down in some of that Flint dust, and oh well, live and learn. Learn from my mistake. Clean off your area better than I did. I was very eager to get in here and work today, and as such, I ended up creating a couple of situations where I had to, in a hurry, cover things up so that I didn't get Flint dust everywhere. Need to be a little bit better organized. And you can see that some of that wore off, and you know, it's an old contaminated solid foam fuel cell anyway. I decided to go ahead and leave it in there and see how the lighter will operate, hoping that it will and that I can sell it with it in there. Selling it with the original foam fuel cell, I think to some collectors would be a positive. That would be another selling point. See a lot of people talking about the Zippo solid foam fuel cells. Maybe they have never owned one of them and can't afford one of them. I bet they can afford this one. I should have been paying a little bit more attention. I had a little bit of trouble getting that screw tightened down like I wanted it, and you'll see here in a minute why I should have taken note. It's a little bit different when you're filling up an insert with the solid foam fuel cell, because you can't necessarily, or at least I had a hard time through the camera seeing when the fluid began to pool, and about that time it was rushing out the wick as well. So shook a good amount of that off. So this lighter very well may be vapor locked or over fueled as well. Now here's where I had that screw all the way down tight and the lid would not close. So apparently you can't just interchange all of the different Park Slim screws. This metal screw came out of a Park Slim lighter that I thought would work identically in any of them. Would not go down, screw down far enough, thread down far enough to allow the lid to close properly. So I pulled it out and went instead with that clear or opaque plastic, white, whatever color that is, that we looked at the beginning. I was hoping to use a metal screw, but if we have to use a plastic screw to get it to work properly, and this one worked just fine, then that should not be a problem. Get our insert slid into the outer case of the lighter, and voila, you can see it closes exactly as it should. So no real problem there. And now we'll have another project on our hands, seeing exactly how this lighter functions. So we got that Flint tube cleared out, and this repair job did not go exactly as we had planned, but we will keep an eye on it, see how this wick does, and then decide what we're going to do from there. Until next time.